unboxing. Today we're going to look over the Squatt Baboo character pack. So if you've seen other videos, you know that there was the hero pack for the purple and orange rangers, their bulk and skull. They're kind of like jokey characters. They're sort of like one-off. They still work very well. You can use them in game modes. But they had like odd effects like dropping cards or doing high fives. They're a little bit different. This is kind of the villain equivalent of that. They're sort of like the bumbling villains. They're not as fearsome like Golgar or a leader like Zed or Rita. But they're not foot soldiers either. So they're definitely a little fun little pack. We'll go through, see if it's something you're interested in. So let's start off by just looking at the miniatures quick. So here we're going to have Squatt. Let me slide that out of the way just so we're not... I mean, I love all the little details on these things. These things are pretty freaking cool. There's our big bumbling Squatt. Then we have Baboo. Kind of like a weird, veiny, spidery guy. I mean, you don't really... you see them in the show, but they don't focus on them too much. So, it's kind of cool that they made them, though. Because then you can definitely have, like, your original team of, Rita and Golgar, and if you had the Kickstarter, you could have Finster. You can do all that stuff. So, like all the Power Ranger sets, it's going to come with a little introduction. Shows you what's on the set. Integrating the expansions, just explaining how to do that. It does have a new mode in here called Paired Monsters. And this has been introduced in one of the other sets as well, so it's not brand new to this. But what it does is it lets you play both of these, and they come out at the same time. So you can either play them as two separate monsters in your deck, or you can play them as a pair. When they come out as a pair, they move together. But then when you have to draw cards for them, instead of drawing 4 for one, you draw 2 from each. Unless one gets defeated, then you have to defeat, if 2 of their cards get defeated, so if I defeat 2 of Baboo's, then I'm only fighting Squatt. I draw 3 of his cards instead of 2 or 4, until I beat him. And then I put little hit counters on, so they still count as 2 monsters. The monster 3, and then if you beat them again, they count as the other 3. So you don't get a... normally if you beat a monster, you get a full thing for a Zord. You have to beat both of them. Yeah, so it makes it kind of interesting. And then there's some clarifications on the cards. So let's jump in and look at those. Just the back, there's Baboo. And let's look at what his cards do today. Alright, so he's got Scapegoat, 2 health with guard and passive. When this card is defeated, instead of discarding it, place it on the bottom of Baboo's deck. Then draw another card from Baboo's deck to replace it in the combat sequence. So basically, defeating this card, it doesn't do you any good. It just puts something else back out. But you probably don't want to take it out because it has guards. It's protecting the other cards. So he's got 2 of those. He's got Punk Potion. So a lot of people were super excited about this because it's got the punk versions of Kimberly and Billy. So health of 6, it's fast and passive. While this card is in play, Rangers cannot use abilities or card effects to affect Rangers other than themselves. So you gotta be selfish. So again, depending on who you're playing, that may or may not be terrible. You can say these cards, yeah, they're not like super powerful, but they're definitely fun to play. So we have Pick Your Potion. We got 2 of those. Just 4 health. Drain 2 energy. The Ranger who most recently drank something must discard either 2 cards from the top of their hand or 2 cards from the top of their deck. And that's where you get one of these jokey effects. The Bulk and Skull had the high-fiving or dropping cards. This one's, recommend whoever's drank the most. So you could argue, be like, oh, before this card activates, who can afford to do this? Hey, you drink something quick. Depending on how seriously you're taking these rules, or you can kind of just be like arbitrarily change it to like pick one of the Rangers to do this. Depends on how serious they are. We have Awful Alchemy. We have 3 of those. This will be the last of his cards. 4 health and fast. The Ranger with the most cards in their deck must guess the shield value on the top card, then discard it. If they guessed wrong, repeat this effect until they guess right or are defeated. That is crazy, because this minion guy could accidentally end up killing any Ranger. Just if you can't guess right. And your shield values are anywhere between 1 and 3. Depending on who you're playing, you might have a way to like figure out what's on top of your deck ahead of time before this activates, but you might not. So you could easily get defeated by this card, especially if you're low on health. Alright. And then we're going to have Squatt. There's big old blue Squatt. He's going to get... Oh, let's do this. Got 2 copies of Shoot, 6 health. 2 Rangers must play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Deal 3 damage to the winner, 6 damage to the loser. So again, one of them, again, kind of like little jokey type cards. But you know, definitely still fun, still playable, still formidable. This, ooh, I guess the only one. This card is awesome. I'm not reading that. 5 health, passive. While this card in play, the effect on all Ranger attack cards is ignored. So that can definitely hinder what you're able to do with your cards. But there's a few exceptions where this is actually super great. Because there's a couple of Ranger cards where they're like, roll, like you have 5 dice roll, but then the text on it says remove 3 of those dice, or remove 2 of them. Or might say pay so much energy at the end. So basically you get like a high dice roll, but you have to pay for it in some other way. This removes it. So although it's usually hurts you in a few cards, it's actually can be very beneficial. I think Dino Thunder Black has one of his cards that says when you play it, you attack, you have to end your turn, or you can't play any more cards or whatever, or I don't remember, something like that. So this card would ignore that. So basically, you get this powerful attack that has no downside. So that's definitely kind of funny. Here's I Have an Idea. Each Ranger must draw 3 cards. So again, it's sort of like, that's good and bad, I guess, because it has 4 health and guard. Because you might be like, well, isn't drawing cards good? I can do more stuff. Yeah, he's an idiot. He probably doesn't think through stuff, and he's helping the Rangers out. But it also kind of hurts you, because then your deck is going to run out quicker. And imagine if you had this followed up by Baboo's thing, where you had to draw a card from the top, discard a card from your deck and get your shield. Well, if you just lost 3 cards out of your deck, you know, and you only have so many cards in your deck, and you had so many in your hand, you have less chances of getting stuff. So yeah, you can sell that to team up. They could definitely do some damage that way. Blunderbuss, 3 copies of that, 4 health and guard. Each Ranger must roll 2 dice, deal 3 hit to each Ranger for each 0 result that Ranger rolled. So definitely bad there. And then we'll have the regular Baboo monster deployment card. There's our monster deployment. And there's Squatts. And then this is what one of the paired ones looks like. This is going to show both of them. One really cool thing, and I've maybe mentioned this in other videos, but I always thought it was a neat idea they did, was they put the monsters in a diamond, but it's 4 sides, because that's how many cards you have to defeat. You have to defeat 4 to defeat them. And then if you look at bosses, they're in hexagons, which have 6, because you have to defeat 6 cards to defeat them. It's just definitely an interesting little gameplay mechanic they made. Alright, so that was a fairly quick one. That is Squatt and Baboo. Yeah, so if you want some extra little couple of villains, the dual villain thing is definitely a neat thing. The other one's in the villain pack number 2, Machine Empire. and it's Prince Gasket and Princess Archerina. And then I guess Rise of the Psycho Rangers has a similar thing with the Psycho Rangers, but that's Nemesis, so it's a little bit different. But you can definitely use this paired idea with other characters as well. You could make up your own thing and pair whoever you want together. Now you can pair, Goldar and the Green Ranger if you want, or Rebel Ranger Slayer and Black Dragon or whoever, and you could really make this hard. Or pair foot soldiers together. You just have to remember which guys are paired together. But yeah, definitely an interesting thing. Alright, check out the other videos. See you guys later. Bye.